What's up, world? This is from this morning. It's April 29th. It's 7:49 a.m. on my end. This one came through the wire at 5:34 a.m. This is from the LA Times. U.S. economy in clear sign of recession, shrinks 4.8% in first quarter due to the coronavirus. Washington, in the broadest measure so far of COVID 19's economic damage. The government said Wednesday that total U.S. output in the first quarter fell 4.8% faster than at any time since the Great Recession. But economists quickly noted that even this decline was likely the tip of the iceberg because the first quarter number included January and February, and reported corona cases did not begin to surge until March. The full dimension of the pandemic's economic damage will not be visible in the data until the second quarter. And that's going to be the quarter where we're going to be like, why did we let ourselves, hopefully, that's what I hope, but maybe they won't even, just like the data now of the coronavirus cases and who's died and all, because all that's being fudged with. Okay, I'm going to be the one to tell you. They'll probably fudge with the data about the all the people dead from not having a job. All right, so it left little doubt that the nation's record 10.5 years of economic expansion has come to an abrupt end with profound political and economic repercussions. Wednesday's negative news, coupled with grimmer prospects ahead, posed serious challenges to President Trump's re-election strategy, which was designed to capitalize on now vanishing prosperity. The pandemic also poses problems for Democrats hoping to rely on traditional campaign rallies and other methods of building support. Two consecutive quarters of negative growth in the gross domestic product, that's that GDP. Two consecutive quarters of negative growth in the gross domestic product, a tally of all goods and services produced in the nation, in other words, are usually considered a recession. And the U.S. economy got worse in April as businesses across the nation shut down. Millions of workers were laid off. State governments imposed lockdowns, and claims for unemployment benefits skyrocketed. Yeah, if you're sheltering at home, you're on house arrest. You're on lockdown. Like these prison terms they use. Economists have projected GDP to crater in the second quarter by an unprecedented 30% or more. Ooh, man, that is so bad. Just that one hit me. I'm sorry, folks. Dear reader, economies have projected GDP to crater in the second quarter by an unprecedented 30% or more. It's just the first leg of our journey, Joel Prakin, chief U.S. economist at IHS Markit, said of Wednesday's report. The research firm this week was forecasting a 37% annualized plunge in GDP for the current quarter. The steepest quarterly drop during the Great Recession was 8.4% in early 2009. This is going to blow that out of the water, Prakin said. GDP grew by a moderate 2.1% in the fourth quarter of last year and by 2.3% for all of 2019. The numbers are adjusted for inflation. Okay, dear reader, let's see if this article mentions anything about a depression, because these kind of numbers is depression numbers. Okay, if you don't know what a depression is in an economy, we're gonna get to that right now. I'm just gonna keep going. In one hopeful sign, Prakin and others said the second quarter could very well turn out to be the bottom for the economy because some states have already begun to allow businesses to reopen and eased up on lockdowns and restrictions for public gatherings. The economy should also be getting a lift from the nearly 3 trillion in various relief spending by Congress, including more than 650 billion aimed at small businesses and trillions more of lending and credit programs by the Federal Reserve. I'm down for a credit card of like 10 G's if you want to shoot that. Treasury Department, pay you right back. Just tax me on it. You know, they're already taking the federal income tax. Alrighty, so the Fed responded swiftly to the coronavirus outbreak, slashing its benchmark interest rate to near zero in mid March and announcing multiple lending facilities, including support for budget strapped cities and states to limit business failures and job losses. That's one thing that was being floated around uh, before the stimulus bill. It's like, hey, how about we make credit card companies not charge interest during this time? And they could have made that a law, but they didn't. So thank your representatives on that one. Fed Chairman Jerome Powell will hold a news conference Wednesday on monetary policy and the economy. The stimulative effect on the federal spending could be reduced if large corporations gobbling up federal aid meant for small businesses use government money instead of pumping new life into the economy. Stock markets have turned more optimistic in recent days, though many analysts see little in the overall economy or corporate earnings outlook to support the price gains. Equity market investors are whistling by the COVID graveyard, said Diane Swank, chief economist at the accounting firm Grant Thornton in Chicago. You really get the sense that the stock market, Wall Street, has disconnected from Main Street entirely and is looking at a much more robust recovery that can occur, even in the best case scenarios. Even if easing of social distancing rules does not trigger a secondary surge of infections that forces another pullback, a short lived downturn does not necessarily mean a quick return to pre pandemic times. Although the US economy could start growing again this fall, most economies see a halting recovery given the uncertainty of the medical situation and the magnitude of the financial losses to businesses and consumers who account for the bulk of U.S. economic activity. Consumer spending in the first quarter tumbled 7.6% as purchases for cars and other big ticket items tanked in March, as they did for travel and a host of services, including visits to restaurants and dentists and doctors' offices. The April Consumer Confidence Index by the University of Michigan saw the biggest drop in nearly half a century. The survey found, for example, that Americans now view home buying less favorably than at any time since 1984, despite unusually low interest rates. Dear reader, I hope you got your chips stacked up because this is the beginning of a buyer's market. It's not going to be easy to turn the economy back on like a light switch, said Chris Rupke, chief financial economist at MUFG Union Bank in New York. The harder the sales fall, the harder to get consumers re-engaged with the economy and get spending back to prior levels. Recovery after the Great Recession of 2008 and '09 was slow because it took years to restore and repair the financial condition of households and institutions deeply scarred by the financial crisis and the bursting of the housing bubble. This time, many would be consumers are likely to emerge from the pandemic with heavy debts and other liabilities. The current economic troubles have no clear historical precedents, but the severity of the downturn, coupled with the uncertainty surrounding the health threat, suggests that businesses and households will be cautious for many months down the road. After the Great Recession ended in June 2009, it took about 2 years for the economy to regain the output level before the downturn. An economic recovery from the health crisis could take as long, although IHS's Praken said the unemployment situation will be particularly tricky to forecast because of the sudden collapse in jobs and unusual incentives in the aid package to retain or rehire workers. I think you could see a quick decline in unemployment and a quicker increase in unemployment in this recovery, he said. In the first quarter, business capital spending and investments fell 5.6%, and many business owners are eyeing the future warily. Parker Boiler in Commerce, California, was certified as an essential business and has remained open. Parker's co owner, Greg Dannenhauer, said the manufacturer has kept all 65 employees on the payroll at its 50,000 square foot plant, but even with a backlog to keep production workers busy, Parker sales were off 10% in the first quarter. And Dannenauer said the company could be looking at 30 to 40% fall in revenue in the current quarter. His customers include dry cleaners, hotels, breweries, and hospitals. Some of them are closed, others cannot get permits now, and still others have decided to put off or cancel their orders. My salesmen all tell me the same thing, said Dannenhauer. People are not doing new projects. The mechanical engineers or steam kettle manufacturers, the guys making presses or rubber baskets, they're not quoting new things or designing them. He added, I can tell you, when Trump got elected in November 2016, more people started calling in and started doing projects. There was a level of optimism at that point. Right now, everybody's sort of like, let's wait and see what's going on. This is from Don Lee. He covers the U.S. and global economy out of Washington, D.C. Since joining the LA Times in 1992, he has served as the Shanghai bureau chief and in various editing and supporting roles in California. He's a native of Seoul, Korea, and graduated from University of Chicago. All right, Don Lee, he knows what's up. He knows what's up with the business world because, let me tell you, he has covered the global economy out of Washington, D.C. He's been there. He's been in the LA Times since 1992, and he served as the Shanghai bureau chief in various editing and reporting roles in California. So if he was the bureau chief in Shanghai, which is in Hong, where's Shanghai? China? Yeah, a lot. That's a big business hub right there. Wait, hold on. Let's be right, man. I don't want to give you the incorrect facts here. Look at what people Google. Bollywood actor, IRS stimulus check payment status. People still waiting on that, huh? All right. So let's look at the depression econ economic definition. All right, here it is. In economics, a depression. Oh, let's flip it up. Sorry about that, dear reader. In economics, a depression is a sustained long-term downturn in economic activity in one or more economies. It is a more severe economic downturn than a recession, which is a slowdown in economic activity over the course of a normal business cycle. Dear reader, from me reading you the description, the meaning of what a depression and an economic depression is, would you say we are in the midst, the beginning of a depression? I would say, yeah, we are. But you let me know what you think, dear reader, in the comment section below. And just to be accurate, for the sake of accuracy, Shanghai is in China. This little area probably has all kinds of shipments coming in, a lot of money going in and out. But yeah, let me know what you think to your reader. Oops, what am I doing now? Let me know what you think in the comment section below to your reader about the U.S. economy in clear sign of recession. It shrinks 4.8%. Our GDP, our gross domestic product. Again, the gross domestic product is a tally of all goods and services produced in the nation. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for checking this out. We'll catch you on the next one.